Greetings, YouTube. At the time of this filming, about a week ago, we had a 15-year-old go to school and kill 4 people and wound a number of others. I think it was 6 or 8. I don't remember. And he acquired the pistol from his father, who purchased for him on a Black Friday sale, I believe it was. Um, for him, he purchased the pistol, the semi-automatic pistol, for him. Anyone asks, yes, I know the difference between a pistol and a revolver. Um, and then he put it into an unlocked drawer. The school that his son attended um, knew that his son was having problems, to the extent that his son was writing notes about that he had nothing to live for, and that he was drawing pictures of pistols and bullets and dead bodies. Um, they told his parents that we think your son is having some issues. In fact, his parents were in the school speaking to the administration half an hour before he started capping people in the hallway. But they didn't talk to their son. They didn't take him out of school. They didn't ask him, do you have a means for harming others accessible to you at this moment? They were completely and utterly irresponsible. And they, of course, were eventually charged with 4 counts of manslaughter. And they made a run for it, and they were caught. And someone may have helped hide them, so that person may also be facing charges, harboring fugitives and obstruction of justice, probably something like that. And you can tell they're white because they were taken without incident. They were taken without any harm to them. Um, and why do I bring this all up? Well, you see, recently, parents across this country are up in arms over their precious little snowflakes being taught the actual history of the United States of America. Um, and they're using the current catchphrase for this as CRT, critical race theory, something that is not taught to your average student K through 12. It's only 12th graders who are taking college level courses in preparation for going to college that have access to a CRT course. So this is not being taught to children. They are not being indoctrinated for some way because conservative parents see actual American history as indoctrination. What they are afraid of is that their children will be taught that their parents and grandparents are racists, always have been racists, are currently racists, and will continue to be racists because they refuse to face the actual history of the United States of America and admit it happens. So parents are really upset about something that is imaginary. It is something inside their warped minds that they consider to be an incredibly important issue. And there are already bills in place all across America preventing CRT being taught in grammar schools or high schools, which it isn't being done. Right in my state of New Hampshire, they are doing this as well. They are making sure that CRT is not being taught to students, even though CRT is not being taught to students. What they're not doing is implementing a series of intelligent gun control laws that might say, for example, prevent the death and or shooting of innocent people while they attend school. They'll put cops in schools who don't actually stop school shootings. They just arrest mostly black kids because they like to. They will teach kids that they have to bring armored backpacks to school. They will teach kids they have to do, um, you know, active shooter drills uh, on a regular basis, which we have shown through studies that scars them both mentally and emotionally. Um, they'll do everything in the world. They'll jump through any hoop they can and find any excuse conceivable to not implement laws that would actually prevent their children from dying. But they will go to the mat to make sure that their students and their children do not learn anything. Now, think about that for a second. They don't want their students, their children, to learn anything, but they're okay with their children being live targets for the nutcase of the day who has easy access to semi-automatic pistols or rifles. Um, Australia had one mass shooting, and then they said, okay, semi-automatic rifles and pump shotguns are not allowed anymore. Poof, gone. And yet people in Australia can still hunt, can still plink, can still carry weapons for self-defense, or at least keep them in their homes. I don't know what the carrying laws in Australia are. I'm not going to quote that. They can still do those things. Um, and it hasn't destroyed their country. And it wouldn't destroy ours if we were to have sensible gun control laws in this country, and making sure that every single person who purchases a firearm has been trained in their use, has a license to do so, and has provided, to the satisfaction of the government, a place to store their firearms under lock and key, um, safely, so that no one can access those firearms who should not have access to those firearms. Say, for example, your average 15-year-old. Um, Allowing 15-year-olds to have access to firearms is really dangerous. As I have explained, one of those 15-year-olds killed 4 people and wounded a number of others. But they also have a really good chance of accidentally shooting someone, or deciding that they're going to use a pistol on themselves. This happens. And a firearm is a very fatal method of suicide because it's uh, very likely to succeed. The reality is that, for example, more women or more girls attempt suicide, but more men or boys succeed at it because they are very likely to have access to a firearm and to use the firearm, which is a very definitive way of killing yourself. And I don't blame them. I blame depression. I blame mental illness. I don't blame the person who does the act because I don't think they were in the right mind. Uh, so we'll allow access to firearms to 15-year-olds. We have no problem with that. We do have a problem as a nation making sure that students understand the actual history of the United States of America. So, in short, CRT is bad. School shootings are fine. Yep, making America great again.